right, Single at 40 podcast. Let's go. Today we have the guest we've all been waiting for, Matt, aka the Monster. I know all the angels were waiting for this podcast to come out.
Sure.
So we finally got you.
Good.
So obviously your nickname is the Monster. So I wanted to start with that, and I wanted to hear your version of the story of how you received that nickname.
So when I first got to the Philippines, well, on our first trip there, I bar find a girl named Sandra, and this is back, like, if you guys know me, like, I used to get drunk and really get kind of crazy, right? Either blackout or get nuts or, like,
yes, we know.
Like, whatever. But anyway, so, like, the third night there, she started calling me Monster. And, like, she never really told me why. I mean, obviously, I probably may have shouted at her a couple times, you know how I get sometimes. Not, like, malicious, but, you know, that's how I think that I got it, or it was something I did when I'm drunk. I don't know. She never really told me. You have to remember, she cut out on me.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah, when we were in Makati.
I was fucking pissed, but, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, obviously I got over it, but, yeah, so that's how I thought that I got that nickname. Is that true?
I thought you were going to come up with a totally different story.
No.
Me and Glenn were talking about last week. I'm like, I wonder what he remembers from that. But
No.
I remember you getting it from Sandra.
Yeah,
and
it was definitely from Sandra.
And just talking to her, it's like, why'd you call him Monster? And she's just like, when he gets drunk, he turns into a monster. But it was like a fitting nickname. And then over the years, it morphed into like White Monster. And now everybody there just knows you as the Monster. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, there was a couple nights on that. Well, you remember, so remember the first night. This is me and Glenn's first trip. This is your second.
Yeah, no, that's the next topic I wanted to get into. Is like, let's talk through your first trip from your experience.
So basically, I'll just go over this. So first of all, if you guys don't know the backstory, me and Nick have known each other since we were little kids, right?
Yes.
Me and Glenn have known each other now for 26 or 27 years. So anyways, Nick was the first one to go over there, and he went over with some folks from Hawaii. Had a pretty good time, brought it up with Glenn and myself, and, you know, I was totally down to travel.
So on that phase of the story, like, I remember after Glenn called me and wanted to go, my next call was to you, and I was like, hey, Matt, like, do you want to go to the Philippines? And you just said yes, like, instantly.
100%.
Like, you didn't even think about it.
Yeah. Well, you know, I mean, traveling's important, man. Especially, like, for us, you know, we can go into this too, but, you know, in the Philippines, going to the Philippines, I mean, you get in your work life, and you get complacent. You're doing the same stuff day after day, and we still do the same stuff here. We still do that same stuff now, but now we have these breaks of traveling and stuff, right? So, anyways, what were you asking? Sorry, lost my train of thought.
No, you're straight. So we're talking about traveling for the first time. So obviously, like I said, I called you up, and before I could even finish the question, you're like, yes, I'm in. Yeah. And that was like in the springtime of 2016. And then we ended up going
2017.
No, we ended up going September of 2016, late September.
Late September.
So so just walk us through what you were thinking, and then how we got there, and just walk us through that experience.
I mean, I went in with an open mind, you know. I'd never been, quote unquote, to the third world. I hate that term, but I'd never been to a, non-Western country, right? Been to Canada, been to England, obviously my mom's British and all that stuff, but I'd never been, to a country like that. Mexico, we've been to Mexico, obviously, but so I went in with an open mind, and I vividly just remember getting off of the plane, walking out of the terminal, and the heat just hitting you, and actually on the flight over there, I was talking to one of the flight attendants, how they sit like in front of you and just kind of shooting the shit, hey, this is my first time here, and we're kind of talking. So we walk out of the terminal, and I see the fucking bus pull up, and I see these like curtains like over the windows. I'm like, oh fuck, dude, like what are we getting into? And then like the crew of flight attendants comes walking by, and I'm all bashful. I'm like, fuck, dude.
I think I remember that.
Yeah, right? Dude, I remember this like it was yesterday, bro.
That's funny.
And then you guys sent me up first and onto that bus, and then it was just, I mean, you can't really like explain it until you experience it, right?
No, that's true.
And the biggest part I remember is not even all the girls on the bus. Like that obviously was cool. I'm a big personal restroom guy. So obviously, like we, they didn't have the expressway there, so we were driving through the streets of Manila. It took us about 7 or 8 hours to get there, Glenner.
Yeah, somewhere around. It was a long time.
But like, you didn't want to pull off on the side of the road and piss, although we did a couple times. But like, literally, we had a trash bag there, and me and Glenn are like pissing next to each other in this trash bag, and I'm just like, fuck, dude, like, what have I gotten myself into? And then obviously, we went back. I think we stayed at Scorebirds that night. I'm pretty sure
we did.
We stayed at Scorebirds, and then I didn't really want to go out. I was fucking tired, but we rallied and we went to Atlantis. Remember?
Yep.
That's where I met Sandra, and I think I blacked out that night because the next night we woke up. Remember, we were sitting in front of the pool, and they had the pool party next day. And I knew I did something wrong because Glenn started getting mad at me. like, what did you do last night? I was like, oh, fuck, dude, I don't remember. But, yeah.
I mean, I remember on the bus ride, I think you had a couple girls with you on the bus that ended up staying with you that first night.
I did. Oh, well, they stayed with me the first night. Remember this? Actually, you guys went out that second night. Remember, I stayed in. I felt like shit. I don't know if it was the mix of the humidity and just, that first night, you're dehydrated, you've been on flights for 14 hours, and then you get here and you just
fucking party.
Like, like we're at Snyder, in 1999, 2000, it's like, and we're in our 40s, obviously single at 40. So it can.
I mean, at that point, we were still 30 something.
We were still
10 years ago.
That was 10 years ago. Yeah. So
we were like 35, 36.
35. Yeah. So I mean, our birthdays are only 2 weeks apart. 3 weeks actually. You're the 24th, right? I'm the 15th. So, yeah. But I'm not gonna lie. Like, I've had good trips here. I've had bad trips to the Philippines. What I call bad. That's all relative, right? It's always fun, but there's better trips and there's worse trips. But still, like, even after that first trip, and each time I go back, I keep wanting to revisit. So I think that's a good thing.
Yeah,
and honestly, now we've want to expand out a little bit. We've been to Thailand. We've been talking for years about Vietnam. I want to do the triangle. I want to do Laos and Cambodia. And up in the Hmong area up there. But so much things to explore in this neck of the woods.
So on that first trip, like, when did it like dawn on you, like, dude, I fucking love this. This is a fucking good time.
I mean, I was pretty much in the moment, like, when we were doing it. It's more, I have reflection when we're done. When we're done with the trips, when we're taking that flight home, and you start thinking about it, and then obviously, like, you're in such a, you've been drinking and degrading your body for a whole week, never really sober, at least in my case. I mean, I'm drinking all day, but I always reflect on every trip when I go back, the positives and negatives. Luckily for me, the last 2 or 3 trips I've had, they've all been quote unquote good trips, right? Obviously, I had a blast when Joey was out there last time. You guys know that. And I don't remember what we did the time before, but I remember it being pretty fun. So, yeah.
So on your relative bad trips, like, what makes it where it's not good?
Usually for me, it's like, it all comes down to the girl that you're with, right? At the end of the day, because I'm going to have fun with you guys no matter what, right? I mean, look, it is what it is, right? But it all comes down to, like, who you travel with. And, so, if you travel with a girl and you're really into her, then it makes the trip a lot better, But this goes back to, like, the learning curve, right? So that first trip, obviously, I met Sandra. And then, I've had a couple of girls I really like. But there's sometimes that, like, I've traveled without companionship and it sucks, right? So that's usually what makes it bad. I mean, I haven't had really any, like, alcohol incidents, I would say. I've been remembering everything, which is good. So
yeah, no, and we got a good team there that takes care of you, make sure you get back to where you need to go and whatnot for the most part.
Yeah, and usually I never have problems at night. It's usually like when I sometimes may need some help home is usually during the day. Because the day hits you hard. You guys have gone out with me a couple times during the day, but I'm a big time going out day drinker. I always have been. But yeah, it's a mess, dude.
So your schedule's crazy. So it's like you wake up, you drink coffee, eat some breakfast.
I mean, I've had it when Alan was up here. Remember, he came in the night before, so we went out that Friday night. I went upstairs. I drank a water and a Gatorade, and I drank like maybe 2 Samick Lights. This is at like 9 in the morning, and I smoked like 2 cigarettes, and then Alan comes up, and he's like, "Hey, like you want to go out?" And it's like I was game. I was wearing the same shit I was wearing the night before.
You hadn't slept.
I slept, but I slept probably like 2 or 3 hours, and then I mean that day was a fucking mess. That was the drunkest I've ever been in the Philippines, because I drank literally. I got back the next day at 5 in the morning.
Yeah, because you were out with us that night.
I was out with you that night, and I got in a run-in with you guys that night too. Remember? Because by the time I met up with you guys, I had already been out for what? 10 or 11 hours, and I was just on one, man.
Well, we sent you home that night because we started the night upstairs at the pool, and you'd obviously been out all day, and I don't think you took it. I think your key is like sleeping in between your day shift and your night shift.
100%.
If you can do that, then you're good to go. I don't know still how you do it, but I've noticed you're good to go if you can get a little bit of rest in between the day shift and the night shift.
Yeah.
So I remember, we went out to Vegas, and like you were still having a great time at that point.
Yeah.
You were dancing, celebrating, and whatnot. And then from there, we walked to Atlantis, and that's when you hit like negative town, and then you were drunk and pissed.
Well, like you guys have to remember, like, so you and Glenn were like kind of up. We have a couple of videos of this. You guys are like up on the other side of me.
Yeah.
And I'm looking over at you guys, and I think in the back of my head, I was thinking, why aren't I hanging out with those motherfuckers? I got pissed, and I started flipping off Glenn, and then it all just kind of cascaded from there.
Yeah, and then you got all mad there, so we left there and we went to Sky.
Yeah.
And at Sky, you just carried your madness, and finally we're like, dude, just go upstairs and go to
100%.
sleep.
I'm so glad you guys did that too, because there's a point that like I can get really drunk, but when I start affecting other people's happiness, most importantly, you, Glenn, Mikey, and whoever may be with us, Alan or Joey or whoever it is, I don't want to ruin your guys' night, because everyone's there to have fun. You should never go there with, rocking out with your cock out and like, being like aggressive, super alpha. There's plenty of women there. Like, you don't need to do that shit. We talk about this all the time.
Yeah.
So if I'm getting drunk and like I'm talking too much shit or, because I do, or getting out of control, I'm glad you guys are just like, get out of here,
Yeah, I mean, that night you were just done.
I was done. And remember, I didn't go out the next day either.
Well, no, the best part was the next morning I came down and got you, I don't know, it was probably around 11, 10:30. And like your bag was packed and you were ready to leave.
Oh.
You had it.
No, it wasn't even that. I kind of pre-packed my bags just in case I'd done something or said something really bad to either you or Glenn. That was more like me, like whatever. Like, it is what it is. But as I said, like I definitely don't want to put a burden on other people, they're just having a good time. So
and that morning, like you were ready to leave, and I was like, no, just relax today, like don't go crazy and come back to fight another day. And that's what you did.
Yeah, but still, I mean, I missed probably one of the best parties we've ever had, and I still regret that to this day. We talk about it all the time, the Hammer party, right?
Yeah, no, it was the Mega Dance.
Mega Dance. Mega Dance and Hammer connect to each other, don't they?
Yeah, they're the same.
I mean, I just call it Hammer.
Yeah, whatever. But yeah, that was also me and Glenn talked about this on the previous podcast, I believe. You missed that night, and you also missed the last night of the first trip when you stayed in. Because the way I remember it is the first night that you were referring to, you had these two girls that we picked up on the bus and went to Atlantis, and then you you basically stayed with them, and then I think you stayed with them for 48 hours, and nobody was judging you. It's like you needed that, right?
Yeah.
And so you stayed in that night, and because we were there 4 nights.
Yeah, it was
and
fun.
then the next night you came out, and that's when you picked up the Sandra girl, and then you had a huge night of drinking, and then the next night you were like, all right, I've been drinking for 3 straight days. Like, I need a break. And you stayed in, and me and Glenn went to that Who Let the Dogs Out party at Dollhouse.
That's right. No, and this is the thing too, and I was telling you this the other day. Like, when we used to go there, it used to just be straight like dive bar, just Atlantis. You know, just get fucking hammered, right? Well, now it's got, you know, since we've kind of quote unquote expanded our footprint over there, it's gotten a lot more. You know, it's a lot, I don't know, like cleaner, I want to say. Like, it's not, like, I'm not there just to get completely fucking wasted, right? So, like, I've been able to control myself, which has been, for me, a huge net positive, not only in getting girls, but also in just how I interact with people.
Well, yeah, back in the day, I mean, we didn't have as much money as we have in our budget now.
Right.
And we would go to Atlantis, and we would stay there for the whole night. Yeah. And the problem with that is, like, we would be there for, I don't know, 3-4 hours. Yeah. And, you know, you start taking shots and you get really fucked up. No. How we've evolved, like you said, we have a bigger footprint, if you will. Like, we go to a bunch of different places. But that process, obviously, you don't drink as much because you're not sitting down in the same place for 4 to 5 hours, you know?
Yeah, and you know, we used to do a lot more hard alcohol in our 30s too.
Yeah, we try to stay away from the shots.
I try to stay away. I mean, I always take shots with you guys. You guys drink more hard alcohol than I do on these trips. I stick to San Miguel Light. I mean, as you know, but yeah, I mean, as you said, we sit down another 3 or 4 hours. It's like we're going back, like, you know, at UC Davis.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And it's just, you know, when we used to, you know, go out to Cantina and shit and just get absolutely wasted, you know, because then it was like, all right, let's go out for 2 hours, get as wasted as we can, and try to walk home, right? You know, I mean,
that's
basically
totally what it was.
So,
and that's what we were kind of implementing there.
Yeah.
And we've changed a little bit where we have like a bigger group and we just have more fun, which works out, you know. But I mean, you grow up and you change a little bit, and your goals change a little bit. Like,
sure.
Back then, you're just like, you know, fixing to get fucked up, and now it's like you're more about having the party and enjoying what's around you.
Yeah.
But I mean, the cool thing is, like, no matter what our group is, it's like if somebody wants to stay in, it's like every man for himself on that regard. Like, do what makes you happy. You know, if you got to stay in, stay in. Of course, we give you a little bit of shit about it, but
for sure.
But still, it's like you go out during the day, we don't. It's like that's what I tell Joey and Bulldog, all the guys that come for the first time. It's like, do you. Like, this is your vacation. Have fun, you know?
Well, and that's the thing. Like, so last time we were in Thailand, you know, there was a couple nights you guys just wanted to chill in or whatever and eat and relax, which is, you know, Thailand is, for the people who haven't been there, is a great country. The infrastructure's fantastic. The food is some of the best in the world. And the malls, the shopping there is just, it's really good. But anyways, so, you know, like last time we were in Thailand, like I went out a couple days and nights by myself and just walked, right? And
you were the champion of that trip.
Yeah,
for
I was.
You took home the belt.
It was crazy too, because like the you know, the women game's so much different over there, right? You know, there I just met, you know, Thai girls in the bars that I was at, right? And it wasn't, you know, it was just different than it was in AC.
Funny story from that trip. So me, you, Ken, and Jonas go to that big walking street, you remember?
Yeah.
And those guys were filming, and we kind of just walked up and down. It was the first time we ever been there. And then we stopped at, you know, a couple places, had a few drinks, and you know, obviously learned that we couldn't really film in the bars on that walking street. So it was probably about 10:30 at night. Mm-hmm. And me, Jonas, and Ken jumped in one of those trucks, you know, where you jump in the back to go back.
Yeah, those are cool.
And you said, you're like, yeah, I'm gonna cruise around and stay out.
Yeah.
So like, I'll never forget this. It's like one of those memories you were talking about earlier that you just remember like it was yesterday. So we jump in the back of the truck. We're at the entrance to Walking Street.
I saw you.
We say goodbye to you.
Went around the corner.
You start walking down the street, and Ken looks at me like, do you think he'll make it home, Kuya? And I was like, I don't know. I hope he does, you know. And so you went out and had, you know, fun yourself. And so I remember the next morning, I remembered obviously watching you walk down the street. And I'm like, I better go knock on his door, see if he made it back to the hotel. Yeah. And I'm pounding on the door, and like nobody's answering, and I'm like starting to get worried. So I go eat breakfast, and I was like, you know, I'll come back. So I come back like, you know, 30-40 minutes later, and like I'm like, this time I'm really gonna pound the door, and if he's not there, you know, I'm gonna go to the front desk and get him to open his room to confirm he's not there. So I pounded for a couple minutes, and then the door opens, and some little girl answers the door. And when I say little, I mean small, not young, like not like a minor or anything. So she answers the door, and then she just kind of opens it. So I just walked in, like, to make sure you were there, and you were still passed out, and I just left. Like, I didn't say shit to her.
Yeah.
I was just happy that you made it home.
Yeah, no, I mean, Thailand's different too. There's a lot more of a police presence there. Not just obviously on when you go to the walking street, you obviously have, I don't know if those guys are paramilitary or what the hell they were, but like, don't mess around down there. And then, you know, they have all the folks, like, I call them the civilians, who are in those like orange shirts. So like, no matter where you walk in Pattaya, you just always feel safe, even when you're walking down these dark, shady ass streets, because you know that, you know, so much of their economy is dependent on that, right? So they're not trying to get, you know, tourists, you know, jacked or whatever.
Yeah, no, it's the world's robbed. Playground, right?
It is, and that's the crazy thing too. Like, walking those side streets, there's, you know, and you guys saw us on Walking Street. It's a lot more diverse in Thailand. You know, you have a lot more of Indian population. Obviously, there's some Chinese folks there. Not that many Americans, but like, it's weird about Southeast Asia. I never seem to really see Americans anywhere. You know,
well, the most you see them is in Angeles, and it's usually retired, you know, retired expats or retired military and whatnot. I think the police presence you're talking about, I think they have to have it just because it's such a younger, more rowdy crowd. Yeah. Or, I mean, I'm sure shit pops off on that walking street in Thai every once in a while.
For sure.
And just nonsense, like bar fight type of bullshit. Like,
so you remember when we walked into that Russian bar?
I do.
And so Glenn's like, so you walk in the door and Glenn's like down here, and me and Nick are down here and we're drinking. Remember that Russian girl came over, and you said something to her, like, I think she interpreted it wrong, but you said something about the Russo-Ukraine conflict. And she said, she turns around to me and you, like, if you guys say that, like, you guys get in a lot of trouble out here, like, threatening, like
and she got up and walked away.
Yeah, like the Russians were going to come beat us up or something. I'm like, what? Like,
well, no. So like, obviously they were Russian girls, right? Yeah. And that's what the guy was yelling on the street, like, Russian girls. So we walk in and we go sit down, and like, she sat down next to us, and I just asked her where she was from, and I think she said St. Petersburg, Russia.
Yeah.
And all I did was I asked her, I'm like, what are your thoughts on the conflict with Ukraine? I like talking to people. I like hearing people's perspective, right?
Especially on that, you know.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't have a dog in that fight at all, you know. And I was respectfully just asking her what her opinion was, because I thought it'd be interesting to hear from a Russian what they thought. And like you said, I don't think she understood what I was saying, and I think all she heard was Ukraine, and she just got up and bounced, like, and said, "Don't talk about that here." And I was like, "All right, well, sorry."
See ya.
yeah. But yeah, that's the whole nother dynamic of Thailand. They have, you know, bars with people from different countries, and interesting, a lot different than the Philippines. But in one of our podcasts, we try to talk about how a lot of people like to make comments on our stuff that Thailand's so much better. And my point to it is, I don't think one's better than the other. I just think they're different. Like, they're just it's like apples to oranges. You can't really compare them.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of things that I really think that Thailand gets right and does a lot better than the Philippines, but at the end of the day, like, I prefer the Philippines. And there's a couple reasons for that. First is obviously the language. You know, us being Americans, obviously the language. And you know, the people are just more accessible there. And as you said, there's more Americans there, you know, which is cool. Like, if you guys ever travel, like, if you see Americans, like, usually you guys are cool, like, they're always like nice to each other. And, you know, that's just where we've been going. I'm always going to have a soft spot in my heart for that. I mean, I would always consider the Philippines to be like our quote unquote home base. Just like for definitely. You guys, it's Hawaii, right? And then, you know, you can launch off to other places, whether that be Vietnam or wherever. But yeah, I still prefer the Philippines, you know. I have a couple gripes to the Philippines. Can I say it on here?
I mean, if you want, go for it.
I mean, number one would be the food. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like, the food for me is there's definitely some good dishes, but God, how do I say this, Glenn?
Say how you feel.
It just seems to be more Americanized as far as the food goes, and that's not a good thing.
No,
So,
I mean, definitely Thailand has an amazing cuisine, and it's the best food in the world I've ever had, you know, being on a trip.
agree.
So again, you can't compare, but my comeback to you on that is the Philippines does have some good food. You just never venture out. Like,
Well, that's true.
you
That's
just
true.
stay right on Walking Street and
true.
eat right there. Like, we found a steakhouse, a Korean barbecue, a Mexican restaurant that are really good, you know, right in that area. But you don't really eat when you're there. I don't ever see you fucking eat.
I usually don't. So what the one meal that I always have will usually be breakfast, because then I can do eggs and potatoes, right? Which I love. I love potatoes. I don't know if it's the Irish or whatever in me, but I love potatoes and I love eggs. So I usually always do that for breakfast. And then it's like usually if you guys bring me scraps or whatever, but you know, what's the place we were like the Andux with the baked chicken and the rice? I could eat that shit every day, you know.
No, it's good.
Not really the Jollibee. I don't really like fried chicken, but
Mang Inasol's a good one too. I mean, if you're gonna go fast food,
right? And but you're right too. Like, you know, for people that don't travel with us, like, yeah, I don't go to the Philippines. I'm not like, you know, going to restaurants and shopping and doing all that stuff. You know, I probably should to expand my horizons, but I haven't done that yet.
well, yeah. Usually, like my schedule there is I try to eat dinner early, right? Because I don't like going out with a full stomach, so I usually go out around 5:30, 6 o'clock to eat dinner, and Korean barbecue or tequila reef tacos are like my two go-tos over there. But that's when you're basically sleeping and charging up between day drinking and night drinking, right?
Absolutely.
So you don't go out for those meals, so you don't ever get to experience them. But like I was saying earlier, it's like every man for himself. And I remember the first time I said that, I don't know if it was the Bulldog or Joey, but I said that, and I think I scared them, and they thought like every man for themselves, like we're not going to look out for each other. And I was like, no, that's not what I mean. I mean, like, do whatever you want to do. Like, nobody's going to tell you, you need to come here, or you need to do this. Like, it's like, meet a girl, go spend the week with her, or whatever. Like, whatever you want to do, just go do.
Yeah.
I think that's why we're a good group to travel with, because it's like everybody can have their own experience if they want, or they can come out to every event and everything we do, you know?
Yeah, I think, you know, I just think that, you know, this is to other folks that travel with us in the future. Yeah, like, don't be afraid to do your own thing. I mean, like, obviously you guys know that I do, right? Like, I love going out at night with you guys, but, you know, I kind of do, I don't want to say do my own thing, but definitely like,
well, the day drinking stuff.
It's just, the day drinking. And, you know, if you guys ever see me in these videos and you guys never see me like talking to Nick or Glenn, it's not that I don't talk to them. I'm just always usually off doing something. I love to dance. That's the first thing. I fucking love to dance. I'm not very good at it, but I love it. I love it.
Some of our followers think you are good at it.
I'm getting better. You know, I probably need to get in shape a little bit, but yeah, man. I mean, I fucking love it, man. I don't even know what to say. I think I told you that, Glenn. I was like, dude, I love to dance, man.
Oh yeah, dude.
I mean, it's just like, yeah, it's.
I mean, that's the thing we're trying to get is just, you know, going on these trips is it brings out that passion or whatever it is that you enjoy, right? And you like. And I mean,
Glenn, you know, when you're in the Philippines, it's ultimate freedom. Like, honestly, like, you can do pretty much whatever you want except for smoke weed. And, you know, it's unfortunate. But yeah, I mean, it's almost like unlimited freedom. And, you know, that's part of the problem. Like, I don't know if I could ever truly live in AC because I'd probably drink myself to an early grave, honestly. Yeah. But that's the thing. Like, you got to be responsible. Like, you and Glenn obviously are.
Well, it's funny you say that. You remember Keith, who we met on our trip in December,
of course,
who we podcasted with. Yeah, no, great
Atlanta
guy.
Falcons.
Two things he said in the podcast was one thing he loves about living in the Philippines is the freedom that you're talking about to basically do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And then he did say the negative side of that is a lot of expats move there and self-destruct because
yeah, I remember saying,
you know, they have no
100%.
self-control, you know.
Well, you see it, Nick. I mean, and you know, I you know, you know, going back to going out during the day, like, I definitely see it, you know. But yeah, it's sad, you know, and because alcohol will kill you for sure, you know.
But you go out during the day, you have a great time, like
yeah.
Especially like I would check in on you sometimes when you're over there at Sky, and I walk in there and the bar's empty. It's you and like 7 girls sitting at the table, just drinking, having a good time. And
well, you're being nice too, because how many times you had to come over and pay my bar tab because I ran out of money?
Well, it's not that I have to come over there. They come knock on my hotel room door after you went to go sleep in between shifts.
Even better.
And then they send the bar manager up knocking on my door like, oh, your buddy owes $14,000. Like, fuck.
Sorry about that.
No, it's all good, and we get them paid. But that's the cool thing is they know that you can go in there, have a good time, spend all the money you want, and at the end of the day, they're going to get paid. So
yeah, and I definitely don't like carrying huge quantities of cash there unless I'm like with you guys. Just not that I'm really worried about getting robbed or anything like that.
No, you're worried about yourself being irresponsible. Yeah.
Well,
you might just give it to one person.
It's very hard for me to say no. Like you guys know, when you're sitting there by yourself and you're surrounded by 5 to 7 women. Hey, why don't all you guys drink right now and take my beer and times that by 3 and do that for 7 people? That shit will add up.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And then if you take a girl, I mean that's additional, right?
So let's talk about the last trip we went on in December. Okay. You blew through how much in 2 days, 3 days?
Dude, I blew through $1,000. I think maybe day and a half. And honestly, it didn't go through anything productive. If let's say Glenn, so Glenn will spend like $1,000, but Glenn, after Glenn spends his $1,000, he has 2 new pairs of shirts, a new pair of shoes, maybe like some shorts and a chain. I just have, bad thoughts and San Miguel light bills
and a hangover.
Well, I don't really get that hungover unless I do hard alcohol. I mean, I can drink those San Miguel lights all day. I'll be fine. I mean, you know how I started when we first started going to AC though. I was never really about the day drinking. We'd always just go out at night, and then we started going to Boracay and stuff, and that's when I love going out on those boats.
Yeah, that's when myself and Glenn partake in the day drinking.
Oh yeah, I mean, you guys don't know this, but a couple times we've been on those boats, you guys have been more fucking hammered than I have.
No, definitely.
I've seen Glenn probably the drunkest I've ever seen him. When we went out, I think we were in El Nido, and this is probably like 3 trips ago. Glenn, you brought out that fucking football. Remember? And we were just throwing it to random people on the beach. Yeah, and Glenn was fucking hammered that day. Good hammered. I'm not talking shit or anything, but
I don't remember it. But
yeah. And then another time we went out and got pretty drunk was when we went to that place I want to go back to, Porto Galera.
Yeah,
remember Porto Galera?
Yeah.
I still want to go back there. I don't think you will remember. The one drawback there was that long walk to the bar from our hotel, right?
I think they remodeled all that stuff.
They did, but Glenn, but you remember when we first walked down there and you had that drop? It was probably I swear it was a 12-foot drop from
easily.
And I was just picturing myself I'm going to get drunk. I'm going to walk by there. I'm going to fall down. I'm going to kill myself. Or maybe not kill myself.
There was no lighting. It was so
dark.
Lighting. It was so dark.
It was, but I will say this, that as far as little areas that I've been in, that little bar and that little restaurant area when you're in those alleys, it almost looks like you're in Europe or something, honestly. And
it does have that vibe to it.
It has that vibe to it, and I really, really liked it. I don't like scuba diving, obviously.
Well, that's what I'm kind of 50-50 on Porto Galera. I'm down to go back for sure, but I think we need to start a trip there, not finish one there.
That's what we're supposed to do.
Yeah, I know, and the plans got reversed, but I think...
I remember it was the travel that was pretty...
Well, yeah, it's a long van ride from Manila down there. I want to say it's 3 or 4 hours, and then you got that boat ride across the channel, which isn't too long. It's 30, 40 minutes, but it's definitely a long van ride. But, I mean, there's not much... If you're not into scuba diving, there's not much to do there during the day, and the bars there aren't open during the day either.
That's true. I mean, remember, we would just chill at that pool. I would say this, if we were ever to do that again, we would probably want to land in Manila on, a Saturday night, do a night in the Conrad, and then drive up Sunday morning. I mean, I'm not saying we're going to do this, but that's how I would do it. And there too, like you said, the worst part about that is the travel, because not only you have to take that van, you got to take that fucking boat over there. Remember the boat?
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's how many days do you want to spend there? Because there's not much to do during the day unless we got into scuba diving.
No,
right?
you'd have to do at most 2.
So that's a lot of travel for 2 days.
Yeah,
like,
no, I agree. So
I'd rather go up to Angeles and just get crazy sideways for a couple days and then fly from Clark to Boracay, El Nido, Coron or something.
Well, I kind of like wanted to do what like Eric was talking about. If you guys know Eric, he's our friend from Manila who's on the podcast before. He was talking about, you do AC and then go do like
Subic.
Yeah, like an Airbnb in Subic. You could do some shit over there for sure. I've never been to Subic.
Yeah, no, me and Glenn have years ago, but it's definitely it's similar. It's more similar to AC than Puerto Galera is, and it's really close. I think it's only like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
But
no, that's definitely like the next trip that I go on. That's something that I think we should look into, whether that's in December or whenever that's going to be. But that's kind of like what I want to do. Well, anyways.
No, definitely. I mean, I'm excited for this one. I mean, obviously, we're not going to spend any time in AC, but we're headed to Thailand. And obviously, we've been to Pattaya once, and we're going to have a lot more fun there the second time. And then the whole Bangkok thing, the Soy Cowboy, like I like that little neighborhood.
I do too. I think, and I mean, you guys already know this, like, we stay at, what's the hotel, Nick? The Center place? Is that the hotel?
It's the Grand Center Point.
Grand Center Point, but, there's so many other soy cowboys down there. You could spend a week in there and just get on that subway and just go straight down that line. You could spend
a month in fucking
for
Bangkok.
sure. I mean, and like for folks who don't know this, like, Bangkok's just such a nice city. I definitely had some, preconceived notions before we went there, and then right when we pulled out of the airport and I saw the 5-lane fucking highway, I was like, oh, we made it. We made it. It was amazing. Like everything was like just the infrastructure there, and that's like this is kind of going back to the Philippines versus Thailand. It sucks that the Philippines hasn't gotten there quite yet. They're definitely moving in that direction, but that's one of the biggest drawbacks of I think is like you said, the travel times. You have unnecessarily long travel times just because of the infrastructure. In some places, unless you're flying.
No, it's true. So. It's definitely one of the issues with the Philippines.
Yeah.
But they are headed in the right direction, and it's a newer sovereign country at the end of the day, and they have their struggles, but also those struggles are what provide the cheap environment that we enjoy. I mean, you have talked about that.
100%. Yeah, 100%. Like it's almost like I don't want to call it like anarchic or something, but it's like like we just said about the unlimited freedom, right? And that's the charm of the Philippines, good, bad, or indifferent.
And I think it's way better than Mexico, and Mexico's great. We used to go there. Me and Matt used to go there when we were in high school. We had a blast in those days.
Love Mexico.
But the difference, like, I know the Philippines has crime and it has issues you can get into, but not at the level I think Mexico does when it comes to drug cartels and that type of stuff. Like, I know the cartels don't mess with tourists and whatnot. You don't hear many bad stories about it, but it's definitely shit can pop off there. Where in the Philippines, we've just been fortunate and never seen anything like that. And you don't hear too much, about that type of stuff.
For sure. But, if you were to go, to southern Mindanao, where it's so close to Indonesia, where they have all those problems, like you'd run into the same stuff. I mean, not to that. I mean, that's obviously terrorism versus business kind of deal, but you know what I mean, though.
Yeah, no, there's definitely some unsafe places, but they tell you not to go to those places and you stay away from them, right?
No, I'm not going there.
Let's take a break real quick.
Yeah. All right, got through our technical difficulties. We're back up. So I wanted you to tell a story about our first time in Thailand, Matt, where we were at the Thai Lock bar, the one where we bring this bar up all the time and we had a great time there. It's the one where they shot the Hangover 2 movie.
Yeah.
But you had that one really cute girl that you ended up, spending the night with, and that story got crazy. So you got to tell us that story, because we met her out front when we were all having drinks with them, then we went inside.
Yeah, and we have a video. Glenn's got a video up too. It's with the Thailand video, and you see her like she's like, I don't know, she's like trying to put a ring on my finger or something. But yeah, she was really cute, and so like obviously we hit it off. We walked back to the hotel room. We just make out a little bit on the bed or whatever, and then she just starts throwing up. And like when I mean like hardcore throwing up, and she probably threw up like 15 or 20 times. And then finally she was done. She's like, oh, I think I'm going to throw up again. I'm like, why don't you just go home? Like, it's not, here's some money. Like, make sure you get a cab, get some food, get some medicine for yourself. But you got to go. Like, I got to sleep, You guys know how I like my sleep. So it's like, I
totally forgot about that.
Oh, Glenn, she threw up like 20 times.
Well, the problem was...
We were feeding her drinks,
Well,
too.
she was trying to keep up with you. Yeah.
Like, come on, dude.
And, like, we were taking shots and having a good time, and that girl probably weighed, 70, 90 pounds, somewhere in that range, and I don't think they normally drink like that, and she was just keeping up with you.
She was cute, too.
No, she was awesome. She was nice, a lot of fun.
It's... definitely like Thai girls are very Thai people just in general are very nice. Like the customer service you get there is unbelievable.
Philippines as well.
And I don't want to do like this Philippines versus Thailand thing. There's definitely some pros to Thailand, but as we said earlier, like the Philippines is it's where it's at for us. The familiarity, the language, obviously Glenn's from there, so we have definitely some sentimental value as well.
Well, my point on a lot of the podcasts is like they're just apples to oranges. You just can't compare them. They're just two totally different places.
True.
The only similarity is the name Walking Street, right? And obviously the Philippines, I don't know if you even know, they changed the name to Red Street.
Red Street, of course.
Did you see that?
Yeah. I watch all you guys' shit, Nick.
Yeah, well, good.
You don't think I do, but I actually do. We just don't talk about it.
Yeah, well, that's good. So, I mean, that's the only similarity I see is the name of the street, right? And people like to compare the two of them. And I mean, I just don't think it's comparable. Like, I just think they're totally different avenues of having a good time. I mean, there are some similarities, but at the end of the day, they're both great. Obviously, for us, we prefer the Philippines because we have a history there. And like you said, it's like home base for us. So it will always be number one. But Thailand's great too. So I tell people, like, go to both if you can. If you can knock out both in one trip, they're real easy to fly in between. I think it's, what is it, like 2.5 hour flight between
from Clark?
Manila and Bangkok.
Yeah, I mean, if I was, if I lived in the Philippines, let's say, I'd be going, hopping on that 3-hour flight, once every 3 months for sure. Because what's the flight? $120?
Yeah, it's less than $200.
It's nothing. And the Bangkok airport too is also really nice. So's Aquino Airport in Manila. I just say this because sometimes I live in Nevada, so I have to fly over to LAX from Reno, and LAX is an absolute disaster when you look at these other airports.
So is Honolulu.
Yeah, for sure. But I'm talking about like major airports here. I haven't been to O'Hare in a long time, or what's the one in New York, Kennedy or whatever the hell it is. But if you compare these airports to Manila and Bangkok, it's depressing. I mean to get off when you land on Philippine Airlines to Los Angeles, it's a 30-minute walk to customs. And I'm not being facetious. It's actually 30 minutes. No tram, like no skyway. It's miserable. That's why, I was bitching you and I flew out to Hawaii this time, right?
Yeah, our experience is way easier in Honolulu.
For sure.
And, customs.
And you guys don't know this. I always complain about the travel to Nick and Glenn.
Well, I like when you fly to Hawaii the night before, like you did today, and then travel with us. It just makes for a better trip. But part of what I really like, and this is underestimated too. Like obviously, travel to the Philippines and all that, but like the day that we actually wake up. So for us, it's going to be Thursday morning. I always love that morning because you have the anticipation. We always, you guys are like me, like love to get to the airport, 3 or 4 hours early and eat, make sure you're there ready to go. That's part of what I love too, is, that build up to what we're about to get into, right? Yeah, I mean, when you have to travel alone, I mean, that probably sucks because you have that whole day and that 15-hour flight from LA all by yourself. I know you teamed up with Bulldog on one of those flights, but I mean, I'm fortunate. Like I always got Glenn and Mikey, so we always at least have a team.
Let's get something straight with Bulldog, all right? So the first time we fly up there, right? So he's got the window seat and I'm in the middle. I said, okay, that's cool. And then I asked him on the way back, hey man, can I have that window seat? And basically he told me to go fuck myself. I'm like, bro, come on, man. He's like, no. Okay. But anyways,
fucking bulldog.
That guy, great. So fun to hang out with that guy too. He's a drinker like I am, but I think he probably handles himself a little better than me. He's a slower drinker.
Well, he's way slower than you.
Yeah.
Like he sips on beers throughout the day, and
Yeah.
you know he's very controlled, if you will.
Yeah. I mean, Alan's, man, the funnest person I've ever gone to on this trip has been Joey.
Yeah, Joey's awesome.
Because Joey is like fucking fun to hang out. He's funny as hell too.
We saw him at work this morning, and he was all sick that he can't come on this one, and he's planning on coming with us in June.
I know. I'm not going to be on that June trip, so I'm a little disappointed. But yeah, that's going to be. You guys going to do AC on that trip?
Yeah, no, definitely, because we're not going on this one.
Fuck.
So now that you brought AC back up, like we got to talk about your indecisiveness with girls.
Okay.
So this guy goes into the bars with us, and he's literally the most eligible bachelor there, and every girl gives this guy attention, but he does not choose them easy. It takes him the entire night sometimes to decide on a girl.
Oh, I mean, and yeah, I mean, how do I put this diplomatically? I definitely had a lot of nights there where I've definitely gone to the bottom of the barrel at night. You know what I mean?
I totally know what you mean.
So, yeah, I mean, I just get into this. Like, I love being around you guys. I love to drink. Obviously, I love to fucking dance or, whatever that entails, but dance. And then I just get in my own world. And then, I mean, Nick, you know me better than anyone. I mean, I get in my own kind of like my own headspace in a way. I'm pretty much an introvert anyway, so people may not see that on the videos, but that's basically who I am, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, you're dancing alone a lot of the time.
Yeah, exactly. So,
I mean, what I think happens to you is like you go out and you're relatively sober or whatnot, and you're having a great time, and you're not really thinking about, oh, I need to land a girl, I need to pick a girl. You're just enjoying yourself.
Yeah.
And then also while you're more coherent, like you tend to pick people apart.
100%.
And then you meet a girl, or I mean, how many times have we like grabbed a bunch of girls for you and then, sat them down next to you and you just weren't interested or whatever. So then like as the night progresses, me and Glenn usually takes off when he hits his limit, and then I'm usually not too far behind him. Yeah. And then you stay out till closing. And what I think happens is what you refer to bottom of the barrel. I think a girl gets smart and she sees you by yourself. Right. And she sees it's like closing time. Yeah. And she basically just comes, grabs you. And at that point, you have no more options and you're not going home alone. So she scores you. Well,
I mean, you don't really get mad about this, but Glenn sometimes. So we were talking about, maybe this is like a month ago, talking on the phone. And you asked me about some girl, like, hey, why didn't you take her? And I gave him this reason, like, I don't remember, like, oh, like, she had extra fat on her arm or something. He's like, look at you, you're fucking bald. And I'm just like, yeah, I know, but still, like,
you're a 10, dude.
You have exactly, like, there you're a 10. You have like you have a little bit of power, and
No, we get that on a lot of these videos. These will just tear chicks apart, and it's like, what are you, bro? Like,
exactly. Like it's so easy to tear, other people down or girls or whatever. But it's like, dude, like, you're perfect. No.
Well, that's the stupid part of it. Like Glenn puts out the video of like, us in one of the bars, and all these girls are beautiful. The angels are all beautiful, and it's like, is everyone perfect? No. But these guys will talk about they're haggard, these girls are fat, and I'm just like, compared to what? Like, who the fuck are you with?
Oh, I mean, I if you don't go to the Philippines, these places a lot, these guys just think there's like these 10 girls that are just gonna throw themselves at you. It's like, maybe, but a lot of those girls are going to be like, you're going to have to put in the work like you were picking up a chick in America, right?
Well, the thing is, a lot of these guys can't get anything that looks anywhere near like those girls in their home country. Yeah. And that's why they go to these places, because they have this leverage. But then they think when they have this leverage of money that, that every girl has to be a freaking 10 for them. And it's like, bro, you've never had a 10 in your life. Like,
absolutely, yeah. And that's the thing. Like, I definitely have no reason to judge anyone. I don't know if it's like a coping mechanism or what the hell it is, but yeah. But I've been wanting to have something a little bit more permanent when I'm over there. I mean, I talk to you guys about this all the time, right?
Yeah, you just got to take the time to find her, and you you put partying above that, and that's why you haven't
100%.
found her. And then
It's 100%
someday you will,
yeah. But like when I say something more serious, I'm not talking about like fucking marriage or like
just
fucking kids or any of that bullshit. I'm just
someone you see every time you go there.
Yeah, exactly. So,
and I mean, part of the crew we roll with are girls that have traveled with you or spent time with you. There's probably like 6 of them I can name off. I won't, but they're all part of our entourage now. Like they're ex-monster dates. So I mean, once you date the monster, you're part of the team. And then all those girls still love you, but
some of them do. Some of them don't like me because
I don't think so.
No. There is a couple. I'm not going to name names either, but there's a couple in the inner circle that don't like me too much, Nick. But I don't care. I'm not going to name them because I don't want them out of the inner circle just because they don't like me. You know what I mean? Who gives a shit, right? I don't care.
Oh
no, like okay. Okay. Now I'm going to bring it up. So anyway, one of the or a couple of the girls that are in our crew, not the dance crew, so not Rachel and her friends, right? The girls I'm always dancing with, not them. In the Club Sky crew. So I hooked up with one of their friends probably 3 trips ago, and I don't know if I said something like lead her on or something, but I was called out by a couple girls last time I was there.
Really?
Basically telling me like I'm an asshole. And I'm just like, why?
What were they calling you out about? Like, what did you do?
I don't know, because like they were really good friends with her, and I don't know. So like basically like on the Sunday when we leave.
Yeah.
I was talking about Glenn with this the other day. So no matter what, I'm always doing like an hour of cuddle session that day, right? No matter what. And this is like boyfriend, girlfriend, like wife, husband cuddle sessions here, dude. Like I'm all into it. I love it. Like my massage, my shoulders massage and shit. So like, I don't know, like maybe I
cuddle too hard.
Yeah, maybe I put up some expectations or something. But also it's like with the girls too, it's like some of this is because of who you are and who Glenn is and the channel that you run. So they want to be in this environment, right?
You did get, is this the tattoo girl? The one that got tatted up?
Yeah.
Dude,
well, didn't you have 2 of them?
I had 2 of them
Once you get them tatted, man.
So is it both of them or one of them that got pissed?
I think they're both pissed because they're like best friends.
I mean, they were willing to share you at that point.
But I will say this though, like I did have contact with them on Facebook Messenger, and everything seemed to be okay. I don't know, like this girl who was friends or why she took it like.
Well, it's probably like just kind of a misunderstanding, and it kind of comes to mind because I've heard inklings of this. So obviously, like we started the channel, and we'd always been hanging out at Sky, right, and Genesis and Vegas, and we have like the Angels, and they're basically the girls that were there with us first when we started doing this, and they're the ones that were all down to be filmed. And then you have like the dance crew, like Rachel's group you're talking about, and every time we go there, like. They come out with us, right? That's the party. And obviously it's grown a little bit, but I think some of the girls that have gone out with us because they went with you that don't necessarily get invited to come are pissed. But I don't think, it's not that they're not invited. It's just we always get there. I talk to Bernie and Red. They're always like, yeah, grab the Angels. And it's like, there is no like official, you're now an Angel. It's just kind of like the same group we've always had.
Right.
And, occasionally they'll ask if they can bring a friend, and the answer's always yes.
For sure.
So I just think maybe if we talk to the girls more and, said who wants to come instead of, just because they don't want to impose, right?
Yeah, but Nick, if you do that, then you're starting to open Pandora's box, man.
Well, so we kind of want to open it though.
Well, you want to open to it. You want to open to it to an extent. I don't think you want to go like you're going to go overboard no matter what. But
on that point, so we had this is the second time we've talked about one of the guys that comments, and we're friends with the guy now, and we hope he comes out with us. But he made a comment on one of our videos that we basically manufacture this whole experience. Like we go out with a 40+ person entourage, we turn these bars into this big party, and that's not how the place really is, right? And he basically says what we were doing is all hype, right?
Yeah, I can see that.
So like, I responded back to him and basically said, like, you're exactly right. Like, we're not trying to create something that's not there. Like, we're creating what we do and we're just showing it.
Right.
And then he commented back and forth, and basically he's with us. Like, he wants to make Walking Street great again. And he basically said, like, how do you keep creating that when you guys aren't there is kind of the point he got to. Yeah. But in that conversation, like, you know, we talked about the entourage, and I think he was spot on. It's about 40 plus people. And I got the idea, like, well, we should probably get it to 100. So you talk about Pandora's box, like, we might as well just open the goddamn thing up, you know?
Jesus.
I mean,
yeah, no, I mean, I think that's a good response too. Like, it definitely, like, what we do there is kind of out of the norm, but, you know, we're filming what we do there specifically. And let's not get it twisted either. Some of these young men or whatever your age, you could go there with 3 or 4 people and do the exact same thing we do. It's not like we're breaking the fucking bank over here. I mean, I'm not a rich person. You know, I have a fairly good job, honestly, but, like, I don't have all this abundance of spending money and stuff, but, you know, we make it work.
Well, that's our whole point.
Right.
And these podcasts is, like, depending on what your budget is, if you pool your money with, call it 3 to 6 guys, and you want to have a night like that, it's not out of the reach, you know, like.
And like, don't go to a bunch of different bars. Pick one bar. Be like, I'm gonna spend, you know, whatever, $2,000 to $3,000 here tonight. That's just a number, and then just fucking do it.
No, exactly.
And then the next night, don't do it, and walk and hang out at all the other bars you didn't go to that night, and you'll still have fun.
So here's the formula. It's so simple. So, and let's call it a $2,000 budget for the night, right? So do the math on 4 guys versus 6 guys. Like, we'll just say 4 to make it easy. $500 each, right? Yeah. You can go out in the United States and spend $500 pretty easy. Goddamn fast, especially if you're going like VIP or you're going bottle service or whatever. So here's the difference. You take that same $500 for 4 guys, you have $2,000. You walk into a small bar like a Club Sky. Mm-hmm. There's 4 of you guys, so you can double up. You can get 8 girls, 10 girls, however many you want. You know, they're about $100 each, right, to party with. And then you grab them, and then you go to another small bar and you bring them with you. And you try to find a small bar that's empty, meaning there's not a lot going on. And you start partying with your girls. Then girls from that bar start partying with you. You take another few $100s and you cash in 20s, and you make it rain a little bit. And you start buying people drinks, and you've created what we show on video.
Yeah,
that's simple.
Well, and also going back to our buddy now who made that comment, you know, we built into this. Like, when we first started going there, like we were talking about when our first trip, when I met Sandra and stuff, like I told you, it was like dive bar heaven. Like, we gradually did this. When we first started throwing money, it was in Atlantis, and our dumbasses were throwing thousands, especially Glenn. Glenn, I swear to God, one night he threw about 15,000 pesos, like one at a time. Like one fucking shot.
Oh, Jesus.
Like, dude, what are you doing, dude? Yeah. But I mean,
I don't know who to put us onto the 20s, but obviously, you know, it's a lot more plentiful in how much you can toss, right?
Well, that and too, and it's more equitable to the women because you have more money to throw around, so everyone's getting a piece of the pie.
Yeah, and that's what makes it fun, because everybody's getting more money and they're getting paid, and it brings joy, right? And people smile.
Well, you know, people gotta understand, like, when they go to Angela's, like, this is a business. This is what these women do for their livelihood. So it's like, you know, I hate when people go there. Like, if you don't have a lot of money, fine, but like, don't skimp just to skimp. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
don't be cheap.
Don't be a fucking dick just to be a dick.
Yeah,
you know?
Don't
like,
be cheap, for
you
sure.
know, that you know, $100 to me, and that $100 to that poor young woman that works, you know, wherever. That's not a lot of money to me. You know, it is to some people, and I get that, but like, it's so much more to her.
Oh,
you know, it's going to change her life a lot more than it's mine. Well, like, $100, shit, I spend that on fucking 2 nights at DoorDash. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you know, so it's like, you know, that's a lot of stuff too. It's like, you know, it's very important that you treat everyone with a lot of respect and dignity and just be cool, like we always do. But anyways.
Well, everyone's budget's their budget. Like, if you're an expat and you live there retired on like a fixed budget, I get it.
That's different.
But you're not going to go out and try to recreate what we're doing. You might not be into that. You know, that's fine. You know, go have your beers and sit at Kokomo's and do what you want to do.
Right.
I mean, our channel is to try to show people that want to travel there, you know, for not a crazy budget, you can, like Glenn said, live like a rock star and have a great time.
I mean, I think, it's everyone should be going there, especially if you're going through like, you just went through a marital divorce or whatever. I mean, I obviously don't know what that is, but if you're going through any kind of shit like that, it's just such a good coping mechanism for you and a healing mechanism, I would think.
If you just need something fun in your life, and you like to party and you like hanging around beautiful girls, like why not?
Right.
And we've talked about this before. If you wanted to recreate a night out in Angeles like we do it in a place like Las Vegas or West Hollywood or Miami, impossible. Like, I mean, you're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Have to be an NBA player.
Yeah, you have to be like you have to be like rapper, celebrity status or private equity firm, hedge fund type of shit. Like you would drop a few $100,000
for sure.
And it's like you can do that for like I said, $2,000. I mean, and the sky's the limit from there. I mean, you can go up and spend more than that and make it bigger like we do, but to each his own. So it's like if you have a small travel budget and you want to do this once a year, it's like if you can't save, say you want to go out for 3 nights, like I said, 500 each guy, 50. If you can't save $1,500, well, then obviously you're not traveling over there and you can't do it. But if you can save $1,500 a year or $1,500 every 6 months, like you said, maybe don't get DoorDash as much. Maybe fucking make coffee at home instead of fucking Starbucks.
Well, I mean, first, Nicholas, it's going to be a little bit more than that because you have to take
I'm just talking about the budget while you're out. I'm just talking about the budget while you're out. Like, obviously, getting there is expensive. Like, flights are $1,500, $1,200, That's why if you can go, one time a year, go for it. I'm just talking about, like, the nightly budget. Like, if you can afford to spend $300 to $500 a night and you're pooled it with a couple friends, you can have an amazing fucking night that you cannot have in a Western country.
Yeah, no, totally. I mean,
and that's what we're trying to promote to people and show them, like, this is out there. Like, we didn't know it was out there. And like you said, we've grown over time. Like, we used to go to Atlantis and we would spend those hours there and we would keep checking the bill because I had 50,000 pesos in my pocket, which is, a little less than $1,000. And it's like, I couldn't overspend that because we were there for how many days. And that was like the budget for the night.
Yeah.
So after a couple hours, we'd be asking the waitress, how much do we owe? How much do we owe? And then once we hit our limit, we'd leave,
Yeah.
And those days have obviously gone, but we still, we still have a set budget. We still, go out big with whatever we're going to spend.
I still love Atlantis. I love that place, by the way.
No, it's a cool bar.
It's awesome. I love the seating in there. It's the original. I just love it.
It's extremely comfortable.
It is. I mean, but yeah.
But Agnes, the manager, she's great. Obviously, good friends with her.
Yeah. Yep. And then obviously Mikey's got a lot of connections over there too.
Oh, everybody knows Daddy Mikey.
Oh, for sure.
Mm-hmm. So looking back on the 9 years of traveling over there, is there one trip that you remember as the best or one experience that you remember as the best?
Damn, I'd have to think about that, Nick. That's a good question.
Well, just what comes to mind. It doesn't have to be the best one, but like, what's something that comes to mind like that was fucking really fun or that was a really good night?
I actually on the last trip when we rented that house, I had a great time then. I'm trying to think of what else. I mean, obviously the first time I went to Carabao Island, I'll always remember that. I'll always remember riding those motorbikes. I'll always remember eating lunch there and exploring that island and Boracay. I remember more of those activities than the stuff that I actually do in the bar. Because, when I'm out in the bars, I mean, I'm just there to meet girls and get fucked up. That's it. And dance. 3 things. Those 3 things. That's it. And so, I think the real good memories are created like when you're doing other activities, right? Carabao, Boracay, El Nido. We like El Nido. All of those have been... that's really what I remember. You have to remember too, like you say, I like to drink a lot. Like, I don't remember a lot of shit.
Well, for me too,
I do after the fact, but not like when I'm in the moment.
Yeah,
right?
And not that I black out, but a lot of the bar nights, since there's so many of them over the years, it's kind of hard to decipher.
For sure.
Them. I mean, you think back on it. That's why like the party stands out. Then we rented that house last time, and the party at the Hammer Dance Club, whatever the fuck it's called, that stands out. The one you missed, and then the night me and Glenn went to the Who Let the Dogs Out, that stands out. So like all those different events obviously stand out, but like just the night to night of going to the different bars, it's kind of hard because they're all kind of the same. They're all just really fun. So
yeah, I mean it's all the same stuff. I mean, I'm just more grateful that I get to hang out with two people that I care about so much, and I mean that's really where I get my happiness. I mean, the stuff that we do on the trips, like whatever, I mean, that's whatever. But yeah, I mean, obviously that first time that we had, I believe the first time we had that lunch in Carabao, Glenn, I think we went over and played basketball over there, in like the main square. I don't know if you remember that, Nick.
Yeah, the little barn guy hall.
Yeah. Oh, and well, so the number one thing that I remember the most, okay, now I got this, is the private island in Boracay, in Carabao, James's brother's island.
Yeah.
I mean, that place, guys, is
Mackey's Beach Resort.
It's just magical. It's all you can. That's all I can say. And you definitely get more of a local flair though. There, I'm not drinking San Miguel Lights there. We drink Golden Eagle, and you pour it into a cup and you all share it.
That's so Filipino style.
So you're swapping spit and stuff, but like I don't give a shit about that. It's not going to get me sick. So, but yeah, that's the stuff that I remember because at the end of the day, like we're there to party and have fun and meet girls, but there's also you want to make some kind of cultural connection there to the people as well. Not just the people on Red Street, but also, and you guys portray this so well in the videos with the community service you guys did, and obviously James and his family, Fred and Ben, and
Scalaborn and El Nido.
Scalaborn, who is the man. That's the guy who's always dancing in El Nido. Guy's a character, great person. So, that's really important.
No, definitely, and I'm going to bring up a story that me and you just talked about that I forgot to tell Glenn. I'm not going to say his name, but we had a friend that traveled with us a few years back after he got divorced, and he didn't seem to have the best time on the trip, and he never came back. And I was talking to him recently, and we started talking about traveling again, and he said like the best part was obviously traveling with all of us because he'd known us for years, and that was the best part. But then when we started to talk about it, like he'd never told me this, and his marriage and whatnot and his relationship, and he has a family, went south on him, and he came too quick on the trip. Like he hadn't recovered from that yet. He hadn't healed from it. Like he still wanted his old life back, which at the time looked like what he wanted. Obviously, since then, a lot of time has passed and he's grown past it, and now his life's better and he's happy again. And so he's like, yeah, no, I really want to go back, because he's like, I didn't enjoy it because like I wasn't in the mindset of wanting to be there. Like I wanted to go home and try to, fix my marriage. And it, at that point, that was still his goal. And that ship obviously sailed. So now he's like in a different mind space. And so he definitely wants to come back. So I'm super excited about that. But he said the one cool thing about it was just traveling with all of us and spending that time. He's like, that's the memory I have,
Yeah.
So I hope he comes back.
Well, yeah, I mean, and not only do I think that he's going through some rough times with the marriage, but also, guys, like this is really fun, but like it can punch you in the face. Like it's a culture shock, especially if you're living in I don't know where this guy lives, but conservative Kansas or in the Confederacy or something like that. Like you go over there, it's like a fucking culture shock. It was even to all of us who grew up in California, right?
Oh yeah,
and
it's a different world.
And we're used to like going out partying and drinking and being around a bunch of different folks. But I can see how this could like shock the shit out of you, especially if you get the bus.
Well, you said it at the very beginning of the podcast. The first thing you said was, it's hard to explain. You kind of just have to experience it, and that's the truth. And that's what we try to portray to people is like, we can sit here and talk about it, but until you get there and actually live it, like it's a fucking trip.
Well, I always say too, dude, you're either going to like it or you're going to hate it. Like I don't think there's any middle ground. I really don't. So like when you were talking about first trip, I was either going to go back there for the rest of my life or I was never going to go back again. Honestly, like that's kind of like the mindset I went in with an open mind. That was kind of like my back of my head mindset though, right? That, and I think it's, you got to adapt to some stuff for sure. This isn't like, the hardest shit ever.
The travel's rough, and you got to be ready for, stuff to get canceled and things to take a lot of time and all that. So as long as you just realize you're on vacation and you just enjoy your company, you'll be fine.
Well, and that's why, we were talking about, one of our friends that we grew up with. And I personally think this person would have a great time over there. It's not like you just have to do AC.
No, I think you will.
Boracay. You could, do all. I mean, I already laid out the trip that I hopefully, if this person listens to this, would take. Because I've already kind of thought about what we could be doing on this trip. That would be fantastic.
I think with him, we kind of thought he had that mindset of you, like, I'm never going back. Yeah. But it was just a point in his life where he wasn't ready for that experience because he was still in a very sad and low place from what had happened with him. And we're the dickheads that are obviously like, come with us. Like, fuck the marriage. Like, it's over. Come with us. So we put him in this position where, he didn't enjoy it. And then our dickhead asses have a divorce party with like fucking signs and shit, like happy divorce. And we rented out fucking high society, right?
Yeah, that was by far one of the better.
We had this huge party, and it's like, you got to like put yourself in the other person's shoes, right? I had no empathy for that. So
no, not at all.
He's already sad about his divorce. Yeah. And then we have a fucking divorce party. So it's just right back in the top of his mind. It's like, we probably should have just played it cool and gone slow with the guy, but our dumbasses are fucking celebrating his fucking divorce, and he's not even over it.
I don't know. I think I kind of remember that trip too, and that was actually one of the, I was talking about bad trips and good trips. That was actually one of my worst trips. The one we're talking about with the divorce party.
Okay.
And I just remember, like, sometimes if you don't know me, sometimes I can kind of get in these weird like moods. But anyways, I swear to God, I was being drunk and obnoxious the first 2 nights there, like going crazy, and I think that may have had some negative impact on.
Well, back to your companion thing. We went on after our friend left and he had to go back home. Yeah. Us three. He went to El Nido with us, and then we went back to AC. Yeah. He left, and then the three of us went to Boracay. You didn't take a companion or someone to travel with to either El Nido or Boracay. And we went to Boracay that time for like 10 days. It was like over Christmas time. So that's why you didn't have fun. You were by yourself for the majority of that fucking trip.
And that's the thing. I definitely think like I could have met girls in Boracay, but remember how far that was in Station 4. Remember? So you have to go all the way up that fucking... Remember we walked it? You remember we walked from like Station 1 to Station 4?
It's far.
You assholes wanted to do that, and it was like 110 degrees out, and I was fucking sweating my ass. I was miserable, dude. It was like a death march, dude.
I don't remember if this was the same trip, but one day we went out on the boats, and the plan was when we got back to Station 2 off the boats, we were going to like go shower and clean up and then go out and get you a girl. But we got off the boat and you were so fucking drunk and just making a fucking scene about eating food and wanting to go eat food right away. It's like you shit the whole night, and we ended up not going out.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. That sounds about something asshole. I would do. It was fun though.
I mean, the day on the boat was fun. It always is, right?
Yeah, I mean, I should have probably used, I always say the... not WhatsApp. The Chinese made an app called WeChat. If you guys know what TikTok is, me and Glenn always talk about this. They have a great algorithm on TikTok because they can use people's data and stuff, right? There's no blockers or anything, but this WeChat's kind of the same thing. So if anyone ever travels to China or Japan or Philippines, wherever, you can just get on this app and it'll search, and you'll just be like, women near me in a 30-mile radius. You'll have every single person that's on that app, that you can communicate with. It's crazy. And then like obviously there's girls on there like, hey, like,
Okay. So like in 72 hours we're gonna be in Bangkok. Take your own motherfucking advice.
I tried. No. I tried to download this fucking thing like before I came here because I was gonna do that. It's
blocked now?
Yeah, I couldn't. For some reason I can't like get on, like sign on. Like I had an old sign in. And I can't like re-up it, so maybe I'll just get on Glenn's phone and we'll put him on there and see if he can figure it out for me.
Yeah, take your own advice.
But have you guys seen it before though?
I've heard of WeChat. I've never been on it.
Yeah, well, we got on it.
I think you showed it to me, and you were showing me like how everything. We were in Angeles, and you were showing me all the different people that were in that area.
I've met like 3 girls off that thing for sure.
Hell yeah!
So it's a good little app. It's a good app.
Here we are plugging fucking Chinese-made WeChat.
Hey, we don't have to start talking politics. So I'll talk for 3 hours.
No, we don't talk politics on our channel. We're not trying to get banned.
Okay.
Just fun in the Philippines and Thailand and Southeast Asia.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, we got to go to Vietnam, right?
100%. And I think not only Saigon, but Hanoi I really want to check out. Obviously, that was the capital of the communists when they were fighting us, but I heard it's really nice.
So there's a place me and Glenn came across through another vlogger that said he was visiting there. I'd never heard of it, called Da Nang.
I've heard of it, but yeah.
It's like a beachfront. It's kind of like a Pattaya / Boracay type beachfront thing. And it seems to have a cool nightlife. So that I definitely want to go there if we go to Vietnam. Obviously, I want to go to the city first. I love the big cities.
I mean, I think, I just think we were happy when we expanded our boundaries out to Thailand. And me and you have been talking about Vietnam forever. I've always wanted to go to Vietnam. We have a very obviously interesting history with Vietnam, and they're such a great country.
Well, and we grew up in an area where there's a lot of Vietnamese people, and we love the food.
Yeah,
so
I mean, you've seen off Broadway in Sac, they have like a little Hanoi over there, and it's not little. It's like 10 fucking blocks.
There's a ton of Vietnamese people in Sacramento.
Going back to conversation before, this is like this is part of the reason we love to travel too, because we've grown up with a lot of these folk, a lot of Filipinos, obviously. Obviously great mix of people because California is so diverse, and so,
Well, you know what that makes me think of one edge I think the Philippines has over Thailand when it comes to girls alone. Don't get me wrong, Thai girls are fucking gorgeous.
No.
But the cool thing about the Philippines is it's had so many different invaders, if you will, or people that have gone there, from Spaniards to Americans to... The girls are so diverse. Like when you walk into any of those bars, you have extremely Asian looking girls, you have Hispanic looking girls, you have some that even look white. Like the diversity, for me, diversity is beautiful, right? And I think when you go into a bar in the Philippines, the girls look so different from one to the next. Like whatever your style or your taste is, like they're there. And don't get me wrong, if you're into like Asian looking Thai girls are fucking banging. Well, but the Philippines has more of more selection.
For sure. And like I'm not going to say this is my type, but I had a girl there when I was there last time, on the last night, the long curly Filipina hair. I love that shit. Like natural.
Yeah, no, the diversity of the people of the Philippines is fucking amazing. Like, it makes for so many, and then the Blasian girls, like the ones that are,
that's the best mix. The best mix.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And Thailand does not have that diversity. Yeah, they have Russian bars and they have Thai girls, but it does not have that level of diversity.
No, it's Thailand is its own thing.
And again, Thai girls are fucking gorgeous. I'm not taking anything from them.
I think in a way that Thailand's a lot more homogenous in a way than the Philippines is. I mean, obviously the Philippines is too, but as you said, there's so many different people in the Philippines. I mean, just look at the bases we used to have there, right? And the diversity Americans are bringing whenever they go anywhere, right?
Yeah. Well, just look at the group of angels. They're all so different looking.
Right.
All of them.
Right. The angels all hate me, though. You have to remember that.
In your own mind.
I'm just kidding.
I think they just don't understand why the girls that you end up with don't ever come back out with us, but... Like I said, I think it's just a big miscommunication that we can get to the bottom of next time we're in a city.
It's not a miscommunication at all. You want to know the truth?
Well, that's what we're here for.
Well, maybe I don't want to take them out.
Well, no, maybe you don't, and I'm not saying that it's up to you. I'm just saying.
Okay.
I'm saying I think there's a miscommunication where once somebody parties with us, like there's no rules to the angels, right? Like we're very chilled, relaxed people. Obviously, I have the set group of angels that have been there from the beginning, and I always make sure they come out with us.
Like the Genevieves.
Exactly. And over time they've added some, because a lot of those girls aren't always there. They have other lives. They go home. They do different things.
Yeah.
So it's like if we go there and we're like, all right, Bernie, we need 10 angels.
Yeah.
And the 10 that we normally got, 3 of them are back home or busy or whatnot. Mm-hmm. He'll add a couple more people, and it's usually probably the closer friend group of the ones, because they all take care of each other.
For sure.
So I think somewhere in there it gets lost, and I think probably some of the girls that have gone with you and spent time with you weren't part of that group, and they probably think we're picking where we're not.
Hell no.
Exactly. So it's like, and Bernie's going to do his thing. He works there. He works with them. So he's going to pick whatever he wants. And that, at the end of the day, like, that's where I think the miscommunication is I think like they think we're saying yes or no where we're not. We're just like, hey, round up the angels. Like, how many girls? Like, at least 15, at least 20. Let's go party. And then the decision's made outside of our hands is what I'm getting at.
Yeah. I mean, just tell them like I'm a fucking derelict. I mean, who cares? Like,
I just think they probably think you're picking and choosing where you're not. You have nothing to do with who
nothing
comes
at
out.
all.
Exactly.
Not at all.
That's the miscommunication I'm talking about.
Like I've never talked to you guys about bringing out any angel any dancers. But like I will say this. So obviously, like my buddy on the dance crew is Rachel, right? And then my buddy in the Angels is Genevieve, right? Those are like my two homies.
Yeah.
I haven't hooked up with either one of them. I'm just saying those are my friends.
Yeah, no, for sure.
But anyways.
No, and that's it. It's like I think they think that we pick and choose and we don't. And at the end of the day, I'm a very loyal guy, right? So like if one of the girls that I know is not there, I'm asking, oh, where's Genevieve or where's MJ or where's Rachel? Like, and these aren't girls I hook up with. These are like our friends. So it's like if they're not there, obviously I'm consciously asking, where are these girls at? Oh, this girl went home, or this girl's, busy tonight. Okay, cool. Grab another one, and it's not like go pick her or she can come and she can't come. It's just like bring them, let's go. And I don't think they realize that. So that's where I think the big miscommunication is.
I mean, part of it too is like, I may have told this to Glenn too. It's like part of me is kind of reluctant to like ever, like hook up with one of the main angels. Because if I do tell them to fuck off, it's going to be really bad for everyone. Honestly. Like, because you know how I am, dude. Like, I'm not, like, an asshole, but, like, I definitely will be transparent and truthful in how I feel, right? Because, like, I don't want to lead any of these girls on, So, like, try to be as upfront as I can, Sometimes you have some hard conversations, but it is what it is.
I think at this point, if you were going to hook up with one of the angels, it would have already happened. And since it hasn't happened, it's just not going to, because you're not interested for that reason. And they're probably not interested because they don't want to fuck up what's going on,
Yeah, I mean, never say never, Nick. I got my eyes on a couple of them.
Well, do what you like. And if they're willing to and they want to, great for both of you.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I think the precedent's been set with them. Like you said, we're all friends. So it's like they enjoy going out with us because they have a good time. And there's no expectation for them to do anything but just have a good fucking time.
All they do is have a good time. Like, I'm never harassing any of those girls.
No, we just party with them and they fucking enjoy it. And I enjoy their company. They enjoy hanging out with us and we have a great fucking time.
I like all of them. They're so fun to hang out with and they're so cool. All of them. All the angels and all the dance crew. I mean, the dance crew is obviously awesome because I like to dance with them, but yeah. I don't know, dude. I'm just kind of thinking, like, am I going to be able to bust my dance moves down in Thailand? I don't think so. I think it's going to be a little bit different of a trip, dude.
Well, I think in Bangkok, when we end up at the Thai Lock,
Yeah, I'm going to go crazy there, but, like, I'm going to do some shit on the side streets, dude. I want to go in one of these Indian bars and just go fucking
So
nuts.
Here's the plan. Like, this is what we want to kind of accomplish when we're in Thailand. Maybe do one night on the walking street and just not focus on filming. Just maybe go out and have a good time. And if we can film, we'll do it.
Okay.
And then the other nights, we want to go to those open air bars. I don't know what they call them, beer gardens or whatnot.
I have one of my main ones, which is, as you come out of the...
And I think we should go sit down at some of those and get to know people and talk to them on film if they're willing and do that.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that I would say this with the beer gardens. I mean, yeah, I think we do a couple of the ones on like the main strip, and then when we really want to get in some shit and interview, I think we got to go to the back streets. Dude,
and there's tons of them.
Those back streets at night are fucking amazing, dude. I had so much, dude. Like, I wasn't even like when I was there and you were talking about when we went to Walking Street. Like, I was definitely drinking that night, but like I wasn't going fucking crazy. I was walking everywhere. I was just fucking around.
Well,
like,
that's what
I would go into like
do.
a 7-Eleven and grab.
We
a
need
bar.
to take the truck taxi to Walking Street and then walk back.
Yes.
And go up every side street. One side street off is where that classroom hotel is. So it's like, that's where we'll go first. We'll get dropped off at Walking Street. We'll go up one street, go up the side street. We'll go to that Classroom Hotel just to check it out, because me and you looked at it online for the whole time the pandemic was happening.
Yeah.
Have a couple drinks there and then just start walking throughout those streets till we get back to the hotel.
Yeah, I mean, I think we could even do that a couple nights, because obviously I think that's a good idea to go out on that Walking Street and not film and just let it loose.
Yeah.
That way too, like if Glenn has to film everything, it's not going to be as fun for him either.
Well, no, and we're not bringing cameramen this time. It's just us.
Yeah.
So first and foremost, have a good time, and then if we can organically start filming, we will.
Yeah.
And even the little Atlantis bar on Walking Street that we did go have a good time in.
Yeah, that's the one we filmed, right? Where I'm like,
yeah, they let us film a little bit, but then they said the owner didn't like it, so we obviously stopped. And that was a good time. Like we can recreate that. That girl that was hanging out with us was fucking beautiful, and you basically told me she looked like a fucking tranny.
Oh, she to me that so you have to, first of all, she's too tall. I'm 5'8", okay? I'm 5'8", you're 6 foot, Glenn's 6 foot. So you guys don't know what I go through. Okay?
And what was she? 5'6"?
Too tall. So like when she looked into my eyes, we can make fucking eye contact. I don't like that.
All right. We'll find you a smaller one.
First of all, I have a lazy eye, so I don't like the eye contact anyways. The second, I just don't like it because it's like a height thing. So like my general rule that I like is like 5'3" and below.
All right, noted.
You didn't know that?
Well, no, I know. I've heard you talk about it before, but
like 4'11" is the perfect height in a female. Tell me I'm wrong.
It's your decision.
It's not a decision, dude. That's an opinion.
Like, well,
is 4'11" a good height?
You
on
use
a
your dick on what you want to use your dick on, and I'll support you in it.
I just don't want to get.
I don't care if you end up with a lady boy, as long as you're having fun.
It's funny. Someone from work asked me, "He's like, hey man, how's Thailand?" He's like, "Did you hook up with any lady boys?" I'm like, "Fucking hope I didn't." I guess you never know. You would never know either. I mean, you guys know this. There's some lady boys over there that look like fucking supermodels.
Oh, dude, the first time we went to Thailand, you weren't with us, and me, Glenn, and Mikey are walking through Soy Cowboy, and we're trying to pick a place to go to, and we walked all the way to the end. We turn around, we come back, and we're like, "Oh, let's go into this place." And the reason why I picked it was the girls out front were like fucking gorgeous.
Yeah.
We walk in, we sit down. Yeah. And look up, and there's a huge sign. The bar was called the fucking, what was it called? Not the Peacock. Was it called the Peacock or the Cockatoo?
Cockatoo.
We should have known right there that it was a fucking train, but I didn't even look at the name. Yeah. So we walk and we sit down. It says, "Welcome to the Cockatoo, Thailand's oldest ladyboy bar." And I was like, fuck me.
Yeah.
But outside, like, you look at the girls, you're like, God damn.
Yeah, and I mean,
that's the rule of thumb in Thailand. If they're too hot, they're ladyboys.
It's almost scary because you just never know. That's the one thing that, like, when you talk about me going out, I was not worried about getting home. I was worried, like, am I gonna go home with a fucking ladyboy? Not out of like, I wasn't gonna like go select a ladyboy, obviously, but like,
you don't want to get tricked.
Fuck,
I think for the majority of them, they don't want to trick people because they don't want to have that weird experience when you get back to the hotel room.
They'll usually tell you too. Like, I've noticed, for the most part, Filipinas and Thais are pretty straightforward, pretty honest.
Well, I think they have to be because if they think they've deceived you, and then when you get back to the hotel room, like, that puts them in danger.
Well, you see what happened with that. What was it? An ex-Marine like 3 years ago, Glenn killed some ladyboy Filipina.
So I think for the most part, most of them are going to try to let you know beforehand just to make sure you're all on the same page.
Yeah.
I'm sure sometimes it slips through the cracks, and then that's what ends up happening. Bad situation.
Right.
Which you don't want to be in. So.
Yeah, usually just ask. I've asked a couple times in the Philippines if they were ladyboys because I really wanted to know, and a couple females got pretty offended. But I didn't care because I was just after one thing: are you a ladyboy or not? If you come with me, like, whatever, right? So,
well, in Thailand, I don't even think it's a negative because, like I said, the ladyboys are fucking hotter than the girls.
I agree. There's sick puppies in Thailand. That's the one. Okay, now we're gonna go back to this. I will say this. I think there's God, how do I say this diplomatically? I definitely think there's more bad actors in Thailand, for sure. Now I don't know that. I'm just going straight off anecdotal anecdotal evidence and just eye test. I could be wrong, but I mean,
I think you're probably right because I think Thailand allows more.
They do.
Of what you're talking about, where the Philippines doesn't.
Well, you have to remember, at its core, the Philippines is a conservative Roman Catholic country, right?
100%.
100%. So I mean, it's in their DNA, it's in their culture, it's in their governance. So Thailand is.
You can do anything there.
Thailand is just such a well-ran country, and until you go there, they have a VAT tax, and that's it. That's how they fund their whole government. Why can't we do that in the States?
I mean, now you're getting to that political.
Okay,
thing.
sorry.
We want to make Walking Street great again. Hopefully, America becomes great again too. But we want to make Walking Street great again.
That's good. Make it great again, Glenner. Yep. I mean, I think we should. No, we don't have to wrap up right now, but we should probably do another podcast because we can talk about a lot of shit.
Yeah, you're the guy that didn't want to do the fucking podcast. You told me a week ago, like, I ain't doing that shit.
Dude, like, listen, I just want to do whatever the founders want me to do, okay? So there's two founders, all right? There's founder Nick, there's founder Glenn, actually, and Bulldog is the third founder.
So
I'm the plebe.
In my fucking defense, when I started talking to people that night on the pool, and he's referring to one of our videos where I don't ask him his name.
Yeah. No, you didn't. It's not that you didn't ask me my name. It's you went around and introduced everyone and called everyone a founder but myself.
Well, you're correct, right? And yes, it was my fault. I take ownership for that. But in my defense, I start talking to Ruby and Adele. And when I go talk to Adele, you backed the fuck away from me.
I didn't back away from you. I told you I didn't want to talk to you right now.
Yeah, so I figured you didn't want to be on camera. You didn't want to talk. That's the way I interpreted it.
So I actually remember this conversation because I'm sitting there talking to Adele, right?
Yes.
So you come up and you said, you had it out. You're like, you had like the
microphone.
The microphone out. I'm like, no, I don't want to talk right now. You're like, okay, I'm going to go talk to these guys. I'll come talk to you later. So, okay. So like I started like following you kind of.
You did. I saw it. So
I kind of following you and kind of meandered. The worst part is when you walked down the pool steps, you like looked at me and just did a beeline straight back to the Angel Girls. What the fuck is wrong with this guy, dude?
No, it's my fault. I wasn't intentional.
It's okay.
I do remember you saying you didn't want to, and I think that's what stuck in my head. So I wasn't gonna.
No, it definitely wasn't on you, but I love giving you shit about the founder stuff to me.
I just don't want to put people on camera that don't want to be on camera, right? And obviously you're comfortable on camera now, but fuck the founder. You're part of the PI pack, the original.
No, I get it.
Nobody else is part of that but us three.
I know that. I mean, I just, it was actually, remember you asked me if I watched it, and I told you that I did, but I didn't actually watch the video. I watched Glenn's, I think you posted it on either YouTube Shorts or TikTok. But I saw the short video.
Yeah, you didn't watch the full
And then I
video.
watched the full one and I'm like, fuck. So anyways, I mean, it's what it is.
Yeah, shut the fuck up. We should wrap this up because we got a big travel day tomorrow, but we should do one at the end of the trip and talk about the trip.
Yeah, well let's tentatively planning on doing it maybe Saturday.
Yeah, when we get back to Manila, we'll maybe set up and.
That's right. We're going. Are we going to go out in Manila?
We're going to go out with Eric. We have to.
We have to at least. It's that Saturday, right? Okay.
So
we have to go out.
We travel back from Bangkok to Manila on Friday.
I've never been out in Manila with you guys, not once. You have to remember that.
The plan is travel back from Bangkok to fucking Manila Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Check into the Conrad, and then Saturday night we're going to meet up with Eric, and we're going to let him guide us around his fucking. Makati. He knows the place like the back of his hand.
See, so should I bring a girl up from AC that night, or should I just play it out?
I would play it out because Eric's the man, and let him handle it.
Okay, we'll do.
All right, we're wrapping this one up.
Thank you, Nick.
Travel tomorrow.
Thanks, Glenn. I love you guys.